so important to know yourself. And that's very hard to do when you've been on the side of the abuse. If you've been abused, this is for you. If you've been a person who has a loved one who's abused, in particular, if you're a person who is in the field of believing you're educated, then this is definitely for you. Or the truth, if you were into invest, and I really challenge people, I want you to start investigating further into my life, in particular in Canada, because it would be all on from my childhood to the situations I've dealt with, etc., would be on public record. But for my safety and my identity, well, that's a different scenario. So you'd have to do some investigating. That's the point. You can never lose real friends. You'll only lose and learn who the real ones are. And if you set boundaries and speak and you're attacked, that's not a friend, and that's not something I do to people, but it's done to me. And I had to really sit back and go, hold on, because when you're a person who believes and you've been surrounded by people who have been abusive, you start to believe that about yourself, and that affects your worth. And you have to know what you've done. And one of the things, I guess, where my strength comes from, and the videos that I have and the things that I speak about, etc., is I know how much I've done and done for the world. I had to take a really massive step back for my healing, but every day I do something for the world. Every day. I had to do it. It's like you can't pour from an empty cup in a more efficient way. And it's funny because I say, in particular, your perception of me has everything to do with you and nothing to do with me. So if I get an email from somebody I believed was a friend, that was like I got a notification from something, because for my safety and how things are, and there's like a game component with coding on a high, that's a different thing, because that has to do with the personal development trivia and connecting pieces of a puzzle to find a team of the people who have the same type of thinking to connect to a bigger purpose to actually solve the world's problems for humanity. And I really don't want people around me ever that can't see that or have that. So when I'm notified of some, and it's just attacks, it's like, okay, interesting. But it just, all it does is prove the theories and the correctiveness of people not being able to look in the mirror and see that what they do. And one of the things I can honestly say, that's what I do every day. I look at my own actions and take responsibility, and then turn it into something for the purposes of education, to connect with the people who are like-minded, who want to actually build a world together and a better future together. So you cannot actually get well. Really, it's around the wrong people. Okay, well, how can you get away from that? And that process is a very long process that might have to be, and in my particular case, a massive, massive setback. And some people don't make it. And that's kind of the point of having suicidal thoughts, which I do every day, but I go, okay, one more day. How can I get through this? How can I get through this? Because my mental health conditions are really bad. And that's why it's like the multiple personalities and all over the place and showing character. When I'm far gone, it's a coping mechanism. The loneliness I feel, but that's the I'm just getting ready. For me, I am heading to church. However, for me, God is everywhere all of the time. So and say it is. It is. I'm so mentally ill. I saw Jesus' ghost walk in my house in April of 2020, and he hasn't left. Am I lying about that? Well, I'm pretty mentally ill. Or I'm just an exceptional performer and I'm acting. Well, then what? With who, when, where, and why? That's kind of the point of what I'm trying to say, is your perception is your own. But it's now we're at this interesting middle part here after so many years where, even one of the things, you're fighting against the doctors and you're saying whatever. Well, in real world, the doctors haven't fixed the damage they've done to my life. Okay, but on the flip side of that, I acknowledge I'm severely mentally ill. I'm not saying I'm not. But I'm trying to make a point of the injustice continuously instead of helping the right person and the victim. Once you're victimized, or you're not a person anymore, and the type of help is just you're looked at a certain way, and for some reason it attracts more abuse. Okay, well, if you're in the position that I'm in, you have to understand, you have to get strong enough to right, get away from that. Okay, well, not everybody has that opportunity. Well, so if you don't know what I do or what my intentions are with what I'm doing, it's exactly that. That's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what the business always was, always is, that I can't make an income from because of injustice, and I'm also very unwell. So how do you build up all those skills? That was never my end. Anything in life that had to do with money, I trusted to be with other people. Okay, it still has to be a responsibility, but I had to learn what people did to me in those positions, and taking advantage of is sick, because it's a the empowerer, the coach, the person who is there for you, the emotional support. Like, people go to therapists and pay money, and that's just for that. Like, what about a friend who's listening? Okay, well, what about a coach who's telling you you're amazing? How much are people charging for, for those services to keep people in line? That's something I just did. That's something I just do, and that's exactly why I had to stop helping everybody on that level as much as I could until I can heal, because the irony is I don't know how to do it for myself, which I'm learning. But so many people, that's what I'm trying to get at, in the positions that I'm in as well with this mental health damage, do that. Okay, well, you have to learn how to help yourself, because you're spread so thin that the first life worth saving is your own. It is. So if you can relate to that at all, I say this message is triggered, again, on one side, I'm better than I was. But my heart still breaks, because there's still that, wow. I don't like being right. I'm not a person who needs to be right. Actually, I'm hoping to be proven wrong. I'm continuously proven right. And that's the disappointment and why I'm suicidal. But please don't do that when I say these things. The help did the damage. That's why I'm trying to say, I'm not okay. I need you to investigate. Justice for something. For what happened is what will save that. That's the only way you can save me. I'm working on saving myself, but I don't want to live in a world with people like this. I need justice. Okay, well, I am incapable of only thinking of myself. I don't think the way these people do. I care too much. So if you're watching this, I do care about you. Whatever interpretation you want to believe, because clearly people that I thought care, when they just, again, more attacks, it's just disappointing. But I do welcome the ones that I said, you know what, actually, go ahead. Throw your hate. Go ahead, because I'm used to it anyway.